Right now, deep inside secured hangars at Edwards Air Force Base, something extraordinary is happening. America's most feared air superiority fighter is being reborn, not updated, not refreshed. Reborn. We're talking about sensors that can detect a missile launch 200 miles away without ever turning on a radar. Stealth coatings so advanced they were originally designed for 6th-generation aircraft. Weapon systems so capable they redefine what it means to own the sky. The F-22 Raptor was already the most lethal fighter jet ever built. What the Air Force is doing to it right now will leave every adversary on Earth scrambling for answers they'll never find. China has been watching. Russia has been watching, and what they're about to see when the upgraded Raptor takes to the sky will change every calculation they've made about challenging American air dominance. A $90 million budget approval just made this transformation official policy. The Air Force isn't maintaining the F-22. They're building the F-22 Super, and the timing of that decision tells you everything you need to know about the threat environment America is navigating right now. Welcome to the channel where we break down the cutting-edge technology keeping America's military the most powerful force on the planet. Today we're going deep on one of the most significant fighter upgrade programs in modern aviation history. By the time we're done, you'll understand exactly why the Air Force is betting billions on the Raptor, what adversaries will face when they encounter this upgraded machine, and why this program changes everything for American air power in the Pacific and beyond. If you're proud of what America's Air Force is doing to stay ahead of every threat, type proud in the comments below. Let's start with the strategic reality that forced this decision. When the F-22 Raptor entered service in 2005, it was so far ahead of anything on Earth that Congress actually banned its export to protect American technological supremacy. What materialized instead of the Soviet threat was something more patient and more dangerous. China spent 2 decades studying American air power with laser focus. They watched how we fought, they analyzed how we won, and then they built a fighter specifically engineered to challenge everything the F-22 represented. The J-20 Mighty Dragon entered service as a direct counter to the Raptor, featuring stealth characteristics, advanced sensors, and long-range missiles designed with one purpose: neutralizing American air superiority over the Pacific. Russia followed a parallel track, continuing to develop the Su-57 Felon with improved sensors and extended range weapon systems, despite the economic strain of their Ukrainian adventure. Here's what keeps planners awake at Pentagon briefing. China isn't building a few token J-20s for prestige. They're manufacturing them at industrial scale. Reports suggest over 100 already operational, with more coming off. Production lines every month. America has exactly 185 F-22 Raptors. The production line closed in 2012 and will never reopen. Every single Raptor is irreplaceable. And while the F-47 6th-generation fighter that Boeing won the contract to build in March 2025 will eventually provide America's next leap in air dominance, that aircraft won't reach meaningful operational numbers until the 2030s. That gap between now and then is precisely the window adversaries might calculate they can exploit. The Air Force identified this problem and responded with the kind of strategic brilliance that has defined American defense thinking at its finest. Don't wait for the next platform to save you. Take the incomparable platform you already have, push it to limits that weren't possible when it was built, and make it so lethal that no adversary would dare test it. That's the F-22 Super program. And what they're doing to these jets will shock you. The centerpiece of the entire upgrade program is a system called IRDS, the Infrared Defensive System. In January 2025, Lockheed Martin received a $270 million contract to integrate this technology across the Raptor fleet, and the implications reach far beyond what the dollar figure suggests. Traditional air combat doctrine revolved around radar. You use active radar to find the enemy, track them, build a firing solution, and shoot them down. That approach worked beautifully for decades, but modern stealth aircraft like China's J-20 were specifically engineered to minimize radar cross-sections to nearly nothing. And here's the vulnerability in active radar that most people don't fully appreciate. When you're broadcasting radar energy, you are advertising your exact position to every passive receiver within range. In a contested environment, that's not just inefficient, it's potentially lethal. IRDS eliminates that vulnerability completely. This is a distributed network of infrared sensors embedded across the F-22's entire airframe, creating 360-degree passive threat detection that doesn't emit a single signal. Passive means you're watching everything around you in perfect electronic silence, like having eyes that see heat signatures across enormous distances, while remaining completely invisible to anyone looking for you. These aren't legacy infrared sensors from previous generations of aircraft. aircraft. This is Lockheed Martin's Gen 3 Tackle RST technology, the same cutting-edge system originally being developed for next-generation platforms. The Air Force is taking 6th-generation sensor technology and backporting it directly onto a 5th-generation airframe. The Raptor isn't being maintained. It's being given capabilities that weren't supposed to exist on any operational fighter until the 2030s. Consider what this means in an actual combat scenario. A Chinese J-20 fires a PL-15 missile from maximum range roughly 200 kilometers away. In older F-22 configurations, the radar warning receiver might detect that missile's seeker going active only when it's already inbound and evasion options are narrowing fast. With IRDS, the system detects the infrared signature of that launch the instant it happens. The pilot knows immediately, can maneuver aggressively, deploy countermeasures, and potentially target the shooter before that missile closes distance. The entire engagement timeline shifts completely in the Raptor's favor. An F-22 Super equipped with IRDS can detect, track, and build firing solutions against enemy aircraft without ever activating its radar. Perfect stealth combined with perfect situational awareness. The Air Force is also adding podded IRST sensors under the Raptor's wings to complement IRDS, extending long-range search and track capabilities even further. Together, these systems create a sensor fusion environment that makes the upgraded F-22 simultaneously more lethal and more survivable than anything an adversary will encounter. Customer evaluation of these systems is scheduled for 2026, with production decisions expected by the 4th quarter of fiscal year 2026. Once that approval comes, the retrofit begins moving through the entire combat-coded fleet. Before we continue, take a quick second to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it helps us keep bringing you these in-depth looks at American military innovation. Now let's talk about stealth. The F-22 Super isn't just getting revolutionary sensors. It's becoming harder to detect across spectrums that didn't even register as threats when the original Raptor was designed. Aviation photographers working the perimeter of Edwards have captured something remarkable in recent months. F-22s wearing mirror-like coatings that look completely unlike the standard matte gray paint that has defined the Raptor's appearance for 2 decades. This is multispectral stealth technology designed to reduce the Raptor's signature across radar, infrared, and optical detection simultaneously. The original stealth coatings were breathtakingly effective against radar. They were also maintenance nightmares. The radar-absorbent material would crack, peel, and degrade with flight hours, requiring constant touch-ups in climate-controlled environments. Every hour of flying time demanded significant maintenance hours just to preserve that low observable profile. The new coatings represent decades of materials science advancement distilled into a practical application. Thinner, more durable, requiring significantly less maintenance between missions and covering broader portions of the electromagnetic spectrum than anything applied to a production fighter before. China and Russia have both invested heavily in infrared search and track sensors, specifically because they recognized that radar stealth alone might not be enough. The F-22 Super's multispectral coatings address that vulnerability directly. Even if an adversary manages to deploy infrared detection at range, the thermal signature they're searching for simply won't be there. The electronic warfare suite being developed for the upgraded Raptor turns the F-22 into an active electromagnetic threat rather than just a passive survivor. The upgraded systems can geolocate enemy emitters at ranges that exceed the enemy's ability to detect the Raptor. That means the F-22 Super can map out an entire enemy air defense network, identifying radar positions and finding exploitable gaps, all before entering any range where those systems can see it coming. Combine improved stealth with passive infrared detection and next-generation electronic warfare, and you have an aircraft that can see everything while being seen by nothing. No other aircraft on Earth achieves that combination the way the F-22 Super will. But survivability only tells half the story. A fighter's ultimate purpose is to destroy threats and dominate the sky. That's where the weapons upgrades reshape the entire picture. First and most significant is the AIM-260 Joint Advanced Tactical Missile. This is America's direct response to China's PL-15, specifically engineered to outrange and outperform anything adversaries can currently field. The AIM-260 is built to defeat modern electronic countermeasures, engage targets at distances that exceed current weapon envelopes, and do all of this while fitting inside the F-22's internal weapons bays to preserve stealth characteristics. Late 2024 saw an F-22 achieve the longest known AIM 120 IM kill on record, surpassing a benchmark set by an F-15C in 2021, with the AIM-260 extending those engagement envelopes even further. Adversaries face a genuinely impossible tactical problem. The F-22 Super, using passive infrared sensors, can detect an enemy formation, build firing solutions, launch weapons at extreme range, and the adversary may not know there's a threat until missiles are already inbound. That is not a fair contest. That is air dominance in its purest expression. The upgrade package also addresses the range challenge, critical in any Pacific scenario. Traditional external fuel tanks provide needed range but completely destroy stealth by presenting large radar reflections. Engineers have been working since 2023 on stealthy external fuel tanks that preserve low observable characteristics while carrying the additional fuel needed for extended Pacific missions. An F-22 Super equipped with these tanks can super cruise across vast oceanic distances, arriving on station with full weapons complement and full combat capability, engaging threats at ranges where adversaries have no realistic response and returning to base. That changes Pacific strategic calculations in ways that planners have been urgently seeking. If you're a military veteran, active service member, or someone who deeply appreciates what it takes to maintain American air superiority, we want you in this community. The people who understand the stakes of these programs are exactly who makes discussions like this one worth having. Now, let's understand where the F-22 Super fits inside the broader American air power picture. This upgrade isn't isolated, it's one deliberate layer of a three-part strategy the Air Force has been constructing. The F-35 Lightning II continues as the multi-role workhorse, over 1,000 being built for American and allied forces, serving as the backbone of tactical air operations and the joint force coordinator that feeds intelligence across every platform. The F-22 Super becomes the elite tip of that spear, focusing exclusively on air superiority and high-end penetration into the most contested airspace on Earth. It enters first, eliminates enemy fighters before they know an engagement has started, and creates the conditions for everything else to follow. Nobody else in the world has an aircraft capable of that mission with this combination of stealth, sensors, speed, and weapon. Then in the 2030s, the F-47 arrives with its loyal wingman drones, combat radius exceeding 1,000 nautical miles, and stealth technology that represents the next revolution in air dominance. The strategic elegance of this approach is the redundancy built into every transition. If the F-47 faces delays, the F-22 Super ensures no capability gap forms. If it arrives on schedule, the upgraded Raptors complement it perfectly. Fiscal year 2026 budget documents confirm that F-22s are also being modified to serve as airborne controllers for collaborative combat aircraft. An F-22 Super now commands a flight of unmanned drones carrying additional sensors and weapons. That single human pilot controls a formation that covers multiple attack axes, saturates enemy defenses with problems that cannot all be solved, and delivers effects across an area no single aircraft could cover alone. The already lethal becomes exponentially more so. The total investment tells the story of American commitment. Total F-22. By 22, modernization spending projected to exceed $7.8 billion before 2030, broken down as $3.1 billion in research and development and $4.7 billion in procurement. The older Block 20 F-22s previously restricted to training duties are being brought up to full combat standards, potentially adding roughly 30 aircraft to the combat-coded force and pushing the fully capable fleet toward 178 upgraded Raptors. By the late 2000s, F-22 Super Squadrons will be operational at Joint Base Langley Eustis, Elmendorf-Richardson, and Nellis Air Force Base. The Air Force plans to keep these upgraded Raptors flying well into the 2040s and potentially the 2050s, a testament to the fundamental excellence of the original design. While China scrambles to field sixth-generation prototypes in meaningful numbers and Russia talks about programs that its defense budget can barely sustain, America is taking the platform that has dominated every red flag exercise and every training engagement it has ever participated in and pushing it to a level those adversaries cannot match today or in the near future. The F-22 Super represents the American approach to maintaining peace through strength at its most sophisticated. Don't wait for a threat to mature. Don't allow a capability gap to form. Take your best and make it better. Take tomorrow's technology and put it in the hands of today's pilots. The pilots who will fly these upgraded Raptors inherit a proud tradition, and the F-22 Super ensures they keep the best tools in the world to carry that tradition forward. The skies over the Pacific will be contested. The Air Force knows it. America's adversaries know it. The F-22 Super is America's answer to anyone who thinks that contest is even close to even. And when those upgraded Raptors take to the sky with their new capabilities fully integrated, every adversary that has been quietly calculating a window of opportunity will realize that window was never open at all. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the technologies keeping American military power unmatched. Drop a comment below and tell us what you think about the F-22 Super program and what it means for air dominance. We read every single one and love hearing from our military community. Until next time, American air superiority isn't just a capability, it's a commitment.